are now listening to Mr. ZBlackneffect.
What's going on, yo? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. And we gonna start off with the BS already. Already, Z? Already. And Eric says, Z, I couldn't make it past 3 minutes with that video. The BS and projection was too much. I get it, Eric. It's frightening. Especially those of us who are somewhat politically inclined, we're students of history. It is frightening to watch Black women with their immense anger and rage rewrite history. It's frightening to watch them rewrite the dynamics between people of color, Black people in specific, just because of their rage and anger and this insatiable need to be validated by the man, the white man. Their anger at Black men for not making them politically and socially white women. Their anger at Black men for not worshiping them. Their anger at Black men. It knows no bounds. And so now we have Black women rewriting history. And all of a sudden, Black men are colorist and white men are not. Oh boy, white men are not color. It's fascinating watching women of color do this, by the way. It's not just a Black woman thing, but clearly because we're Black, watching Black women engage in this rewriting of history where Black men are colorists, white men are not. As a matter of fact, when white men date, they don't care about skin tone and skin color. It's a Black man thing, right? And if white men do care, they tend to go for the darker skin Black woman, the browner skin Black woman. Now, if we all remember, and by the way, if anybody doesn't know, excuse me, I'm referencing the video. The link is in the description box. The young lady that spoke in the beginning, I don't know if y'all remember, Detro covered her months and months and months ago. He covered her and she got the crazy ass. As a matter of fact, I think he used that clip a few times of that young lady with the crazy eyes looking all crazy and whatnot. And it makes sense now when she puts it into context. You know, lighter skinned Black women went to school in Orange County, and she said she was one of 5 Black people or one of 5 Black girls in her high school. I think that's what she said, right? Shout out to Army Osei Frimpong, although I think Army grew up in the Bay Area, if I'm not mistaken. But Army spoke to these type of Black women maybe a year ago at this point, that they grow up in these type of environments and they're not really racially conscious. And he was speaking, I want to say, about the Stacey Dashes of the world. And you watch their life fall into shambles. And if Army ever comes up on this, I'm paraphrasing him. Army, forgive me if I get this a little wrong, but Army's pretty much said these women wake up in their mid-40s, divorced, and looking around in the world like, what the hell just happened? Huh? And Adric says, the darker the berry. Apparently, the darker the berry is what white men think, not Black men. Black men are the ones running around the planet saying the darker the berry. Yet somehow that phrase gets attributed to the way white men are moving and acting and behaving concerning Black women. You gotta love it. You let these women talk, and give it another decade or so, and they're gonna rewrite history, and it's gonna be the white man who was the reason why butts and posteriors and asses became a thing. Posteriors, excuse me, became a thing. White men were the ones, not Sir Mix-a-Lot, huh? Not Mystical, not Juvenile, huh? You let these type of Black women talk long enough, and give it another decade, if even that long, and they're gonna remix history rewrite history, and it's going to be non-black men, particularly white men, that are the reason why rear ends became in vogue. All of that. Huh? Huh. That's frightening. So yeah, Adric, yeah, the darker the berry, you let black women talk, and well, it's white men or non-black men, right? Appreciate this. These people are rewriting history so much. Latino men aren't colorist. South Asian men aren't colorist. East Asian men aren't colorist. Oh my God. Black women want to hear so much bad and negative things about black men. They will rewrite history. They will argue other people down about the horrors of being in quote unquote community with black men. Huh? Ah, that's frightening, right? Speaking of that, uh-oh, Z, what you about to do?
I can't believe in 20.
Before we do that, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Yes, this is a reckless stream. Shout out to the replay gang. Thank you, button, hype button, please and thank you. And let's continue.
I can't believe in 2025 I'm seeing a video of a sister say how she thinks that white men love dark skinned black women more. She talks about how black men are misogynist, colorist. Yes, they can be. However, the violence that we experience from black men is because we are in proximity to black men. We are in community with them. So we experience their misogyny first. However, if we were in community with white men, we would be experiencing misogyny and racism all the time. White men barely like white women. Open your eyes. Have you not seen America lately? And then she goes to name Martin Luther King, how he cheated on his black wife with a white woman. Even if that were the case, and that was not just FBI propaganda, MLK was one man. Now, yes, we have our own problems within our community, but you are not going to convince me that I'm going to find love in the arms of the originator of racism and misogyny, the white man. I can't believe.
Now, that young lady isn't the first to say this, black woman. We've seen videos, Mr. Z have seen videos, we've played the videos on this channel of black women telling other black women, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down with this. White men are better, white men gonna treat us better, these non-black men are colorist, slow down. What I would say this young lady doesn't appreciate is the character assassination of black men. You can't be honest. You can't be factual. You can't be historically accurate. It's about the character assassination of black men. Recall the reason why the Ice Cube effect, and shout out to Dr. Ronald Neal, is so important. It's because it shows black men that another black women most severed that line. They're the ones who are attempting to, if not already have, severed that line. So there is no quote unquote black community or being oriented in protecting black boys and men. It's all out war on black boys and men. Now, where does that leave the masses of black women? Either the perpetrators or the ones that just go along to get along, or the ones that are too cowardly to tell other black women to shut the hell up. Where does that leave them? In mass, single, lonely, etc. Single, lonely, horny, in poverty, financially struggling. We've played the videos. You're going to have black women who don't care about the outcome of the masses of black women. Appreciate, a while ago, I was speaking about the ideological children and grandchildren, and at this point, the ideological great grandchildren of what's her name? Crystal and Kerosene. The ideological grandchildren and children of Crystal and Kerosene. The ideological children and grandchildren of Divested Zealot and Chrissy. We're here now. Crystal and Kerosene appreciated that she was spreading BS. And she was a little bitter troll, mad that her black baby daddy didn't marry her and take her seriously. Chrissy appreciates that she's waging a jihad, shihad, shout out to Trell Bentley. Chrissy appreciates she's waging a shihad against black men because she has to live on the planet as a darker skinned black woman. And it drives her insane that she's not a upper middle class, rich, or elite white woman politically and socially. And so to hell with black men in her mind for not building Wakanda, and that she has to live on the same planet with these white women who get to parade around as upper middle class and above white women. But when you start getting to the grandchildren and great grandchildren ideologically with this swirler divester talk and black women in luxury talk, they lose the plot. They actually believe the hype. They actually do believe in the white man's ice is colder. The white man doesn't oppress us. The black man does. The white man values black women, darker skinned black women, right? The black man doesn't. Huh? See, unlike the simps, unlike the panderers, unlike the first and second generation He-Man woman hater, colorist queens, white man's ice and colder, and I'm not going all the way back to the plantation, and I'm not going all the way back to the 60s and 70s and 80s. The more recent conversation on the internet and social media concerning black man, black women relationships or lack thereof. When you get to the ideological grandchildren and great grandchildren of a Crystal and Kerosene, they don't appreciate that all of this was BS. And this is what Crystal and Kerosene gets. Huh? What I just played with that young lady, I don't know if she really appreciates that this is what some truly believe. This is not just character assassination of black men. It is character assassination. Excuse me. It is character assassination of black men, but it's not simply that. You're dealing with weirdos with crazy eyes now that truly believe this. Play the video for the people, Z. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat.
And what people don't understand about racism is that white men love dark-skinned black women. Like, they love dark-skinned black women the most. And I would die on that hill. I would die on that hill. So if you think that white men won't vote for Michelle Obama, you don't understand, like, alchemy. You don't understand emotion and psychology. Hate, okay, love and hate are not opposites. Love and indifference are opposites. Someone who hates you is more likely to love you than someone who is indifferent about you. And so what I'm trying to get to is Michelle Obama has the ability to alchemize America in a way that brings people together in the same way Barack Obama did. But even more so because I think Michelle Obama could get the white male vote better than a Kamala Harris could. Because white men don't really be going after the high yellows like that. But they do go after dark-skinned black women. And I will die on that hill. No one sees the beauty of a dark-skinned black woman more than a white man. And so she politically, if she had the right team behind her, she could turn this whole thing around and flip this whole thing sideways if she wanted to. But I don't know if she has the ability to do it. I also feel like she might have to divorce from Barack in order to do it. Like, we don't want to follow in Barack's footsteps necessarily, but like use that alchemy to bring people together. I think she could do it really well.
You know, I'm going to say this, and it's not to be funny. Clearly, I'm not a therapist or any type of psychologist or mental health expert. Mr. Z is a regular, faceless nobody, blue-collar worker, right? Community college dropout. You see this young lady grasping for straws. Huh? You see her grasping for something that makes sense. This young lady sat here with the crazy eyes and told you nobody values a black woman like a white man does, or loves a black woman like a white man does. And she's speaking about Michelle Obama potentially running for president. Huh. The same Michelle Obama that when she was first lady, racist white boys and racist white men were drawing pictures of her as a man. They still call her Big Mike to insult this lady's femininity, to minimize her femininity, huh? To degender her, huh? These people were speaking as if Michelle did not birth Sasha and Malia, her daughters, one of which looks like a younger, cuter version of her, but looks like her. Appreciate that what this young lady is saying is that those same white men who voted for Donald Trump at some 60 some odd percent would then turn around and vote for Michelle Obama. The white men that called Michelle Obama when she was first lady, not even president, not running for office, the same white men that called Michelle Obama Big Mike to degender her. And that is why Passport OG says, bless her heart. This is what happens when you smell your own farts. Shout out to you, Chrissy. Shout out to you, Paris Milan. Shout out to you, Divested Zealot. Shout out to you, Cynthia G. Huh? Yes, you, Crystalline Kerosene. We know Crystalline Kerosene is engaged again to a white dude, if I'm not mistaken. Huh? This young lady is your ideological grandchild and great-grandchild. Mahogany Pink and the like. Huh? Divested Witch and the like. This is your ideological grandchild and great-grandchild who is rewriting history in her mind, where white men will vote for Michelle Obama because no one loves a black woman like a white man does. See, this is greater than just the black man, black woman conversation. This is something that we've expressed in the Black Manosphere ad nauseum. It sounds like some pop culture stuff, some gender warring stuff. No. That's at the foundation of the insanity. Because realize, now we're not even speaking necessarily about black men and black women and them coupling up or not. Now we're speaking politics. To be frank, we always speak in politics when we're speaking about black men, black women. This young lady is now rewriting history. We were always going to get here with women like this because women like Chrissy wouldn't shut the hell up and be honest about the America that she lives in. The America. We were always going to get here because it took Crystalline Kerosene over a decade before she was like, ooh, I didn't. Crystalline Kerosene waited before she addressed the neo-Nazi divestors speaking about deleting unborn black male babies. Why? Because she has a son. Crystalline Kerosene has a son. Huh? We're here because y'all didn't shut Cynthia G up. Y'all waited for a white woman to do it. Huh? So now this young lady is telling you not only do white men love dark-skinned black women, white men love black women more than anybody else, and they would vote for Michelle Obama of all people. The same Michelle Obama they mocked, made fun of, called sassy, called mean, called ugly, called her Big Mike, degendered her, questioned whether she birthed her own goddamn children. Huh? And you think the same Michelle Obama who wouldn't run for president in 2024 because she knew what she was going to be up against with those same racist white men, especially if she would have ran against Donald Trump. You think that same Michelle Obama, who didn't want her husband to run for president, would turn around and run for president in America? The same Michelle Obama that when Barack got elected said, for the first time, I'm proud of my country. That same Michelle Obama would run for president, and white men would overwhelmingly vote for that same Michelle Obama. Yeah. Huh? You think that white men who didn't vote for Kamala Harris, no children married to a white man, those same white men who did not vote for Kamala Harris would vote for Michelle Obama? Ah, huh? We're going to play it one more game, people. And like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Here we go.
And what people don't understand about racism is that white men love dark-skinned black women. Like, they love dark-skinned black women the most. And I would die on that hill. I would die on that hill. So if you think that white men won't vote for Michelle Obama, you don't understand, like, alchemy. You don't understand.
Wait a minute. White men love black women the most. White men love black women the most, everyone. The same white men who are systematically ripping apart every goddamn social program they see to spite white women and black women. Those same white men love black women the most. Huh? The same white men who, when they think of welfare queen, they think of a black woman. When they think of social programs, they think of a black woman. The same white men that were egging and supporting Ed Blum to go after black women who were getting and attaining pretty much NGO money for support. Those same white men love black women the most. Continuing.
And what people don't understand about racism is that white men love dark-skinned black women. Like, they love dark-skinned black women the most. And I would die on that hill. I would die on that hill. So if you think that white men won't vote for Michelle Obama, you don't understand, like, alchemy. You don't understand emotion and psychology. Hate, okay, love and hate are not opposites. Love and indifference are opposites. Someone who hates you is more likely to love you than someone who is indifferent about you. And so what I'm trying to get to is Michelle Obama has the ability to alchemize America in a way that brings people together in the same way Barack Obama did, but even more so because I think Michelle Obama could get the white male vote better than a Kamala Harris could, because white men don't really be going after the high yellows like that, but they do go after dark-skinned black women, and I will die on that hill. No one.
Okay, for everyone, and I was looking for the clip. That's why it took me a few more minutes to start the stream. The clip where with the panel with a younger white man Says he don't really date black women. He tried it before, but he's not really into it. And I want to say Shay Sade might have covered it a few days ago. But it's an old clip. It's maybe a year or so, maybe even 2 years old at this point. And then the black girl turns around and says, well, I don't find white men attractive. What did that young white man say? If I were to date a black woman, it would be a light-skinned black woman. We've heard this multiple times of white men who are not attracted to black women, but then they'll bring up Rihanna, occasionally a Beyonce. But this young lady is telling you, as she said in the previous video I played yesterday, that white men aren't colorist. Huh? White men are not. You let women of color talk. Y'all gonna see why I keep on saying women of color in a minute. You let women of color talk, and all of a sudden, white men of all people are not colorist. Yeah, we live in topsy-turvy world, everyone. Continuing.
And what people don't understand about racism is that white men love dark-skinned black women. Like, they love dark-skinned black women the most. And I would die on that hill. I will die on that hill. So if you think that white men won't vote for Michelle Obama, you don't understand, like, alchemy. You don't understand emotion and psychology. Hate, okay, love and hate are not opposites. Love and indifference are opposites. Someone who hates you is more likely to love you than someone who is indifferent about you. And so what I'm trying to get to is Michelle Obama has the ability to alchemize America in a way that brings people together in the same way Barack Obama did. But even more so because I think Michelle Obama could get the white male vote better than a Kamala Harris could. Because white men don't really be going after the high yellows like that. But they do go after dark-skinned black women. And I will die on that hill. No one sees the beauty of a dark-skinned black woman more than a white man. And so she politically...
No one sees the beauty of a dark-skinned black woman like a white man. Black women are the most chronically single group of people in America. Black women make up somewhat 6.5%, 7-ish% of the US population. White men make up what, 30%, give or take? 28-ish, 26-ish% of the US population. Multiple times the percentage of black women, and yet black women are the most chronically single group of people in America. If no one appreciated and no one sees the beauty of black women, particularly dark-skinned black women, the way white men do, then why are black women so chronically single? Huh? It has been legal to marry black women since 1967. The legality never stopped nothing. White men have had access to black women since the west coast of Africa. Where are all the white men to marry black women, to date black women? We know they piping black women, occasionally having mixed babies with black women. Where are the white men who are co-signing for cars for black women? Where are the white men who are buying homes for black women? Where are they? Where are they? If no one loves black women the way white men do, then where is the proof? Madam, you've had centuries to produce the proof. Fine, we won't go back that far. We'll start at 1967. You've had decades to show and prove, madam. Where is the proof of this? If you want to start the clock at 1865, we can do that. If you want to start the clock at 1967, we can do that. Where is the proof of all these black women loving white men? Huh? Where's the proof of this? There are thousands of white celebrities, white male celebrities in America. How many of them have black wives? Where is the proof of this? And not only black wives, going off of your standards, madam, brown skin and dark skin black wives. Where's the proof of this, crazy eyes? Huh? Continuing, playing it one more again.
And what people don't understand about racism is that white men love dark-skinned black women. Like, they love dark-skinned black women the most. And I would die on that hill. I will die on that hill. So if you think that white men won't vote for Michelle Obama, you don't understand, like, alchemy. You don't understand emotion and psychology. Hate, okay, love and hate are not opposites. Love and indifference are opposites. Someone who hates you is more likely to love you than someone who is indifferent about you. And so what I'm trying to get to is Michelle Obama has the ability to alchemize America in a way that brings people together in the same way Barack Obama did. But even more so because I think Michelle Obama could get the white male vote better than a Kamala Harris could. Because white men don't really be going after the high yellows like that. But they do go after dark-skinned black women. And I will die on that hill. No one sees the beauty of a dark-skinned black woman more than a white man. And so she politically, if she had the right team behind her, she could turn this whole thing around and flip this whole thing sideways if she wanted to. But I don't know if she has the ability to do it. I also feel like she might have to divorce from Barack in order to do it. Like, we don't want to follow in Barack's footsteps necessarily, but like use that alchemy to bring people together. I think she could do it really well.
You know, the song in the background, That Ain't No Way. It's actually a perfect song for Crazy Eyes over here. Once again, the title for today's stream is Rewriting History for Wyte Zaddy. Rewriting history for Wyte Zaddy, which is exactly what this young lady is engaging in. Huh? Black women like this have gone so far that they are engaging in rewriting history. Do white men care? No. They will engage in character assassination of black men, though. Do white men care 1 inch? No. White men not trying to marry white women right now. What makes black women think white men are trying to marry black women? Shrugs. Huh? And Mark says, chronically mentally unstable. Mark Bryant says, chronically mentally unstable. She looks crazy eyes. She looks like crazy eyes. Huh? We're going to continue to have this because, particularly in the black community, we don't criticize black women's behavior. We don't criticize their worldview. We put them on a moral pedestal. And when I say we, I don't mean us in the black manosphere. We put them on a moral pedestal above black men and boys. We excuse their behavior. We excuse their hateful, misandrous rhetoric. In years and decades of no correction is how you get here. That's how you get a Cynthia G. Don't forget, Dr. Umar Johnson still excused her behavior. That's how you get a crazy eyes like this young lady. Rewriting history on y'all ass. Huh? Years and decades of black women witnessing racist white society, witnessing other black folks, that's black men and black women, wagging their finger at black men, black boys, black males, and really having very little to say about the misandry of black girls and women is how you get here. Huh? Telescope says chick is upside backwards down wrong. Hysterical. But she is. But it doesn't matter because who's going to check her? Who notable is going to check her, let alone a black woman, a notable black woman? Who? And who's going to check her appropriately? Not just, ooh, you shouldn't say that. No, you're wrong. What informs you is wrong. Your view of history is wrong. Your view of black men is wrong. Your white worship will hurt other black women because it's wrong. Black women like you have existed since the plantation, since the west coast of Africa, and have nothing to show for it. Huh? We've had black women like you for centuries. Fine, if you want to start it in 1967, for decades. And what do they have to show for it? Huh? This is what decades of not checking black women's misandry results to. This is what decades of big mama and auntie them and mama them not saying anything, as a matter of fact, encouraging the weirdo divester swirler talk. And you know, when a white man with a black woman, you know he loves him and his black woman and all that type of weirdo talk. You know, when them black men end up with them white women, they end up with them fat white women. But when the black woman end up with a white man, the white man makes sure to get him the baddest black woman. All that type of talk for years and decades is how you get here. Huh? That's how you get here. The rewriting of history. And Crazy Eyes over here is standing on it and sitting on it. Oops. So let's play this one again. As a matter of fact, let's play the original video where the young lady responded, and then we'll play the video of her responding. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Continuing.
People wanted to jump down my throat when I said that other races of men, particularly these men, love dark-skinned black women the most. And not only am I here to double and triple down on what I said, but I'm also here to say that I am not fully pro-black. I am pro-black woman. There is a big difference. And a lot of times, like, black men will come into the comments making all these defenses and all these things. But, like, what we have to understand is a lot of the pro-black ideas were created by men who were misogynists. And I don't agree with that. I have total respect, well, some respect for the men of the 50s and the 60s who led the civil rights movements and all that stuff. But a lot of them were really misogynist. I love MLK, but he cheated on his wife with a lot of different women. I've heard horror stories about the Black Panthers. So my black idea is not architected by men, and it never will be. Now, I'll be honest, most of the books that I've read, like I've read Roots, I've read Copper Sun by Sharon Draper, but I haven't read a whole lot of black literature. So if you have black literature that is created by liberated black women who are not male-centered, I would love to read it, because I do recognize that I need to work on my ideas, but I stand by what I said. I see white men loving dark-skinned black women the most. When I traveled to Asia and I saw interracial couples, the women who got to wear their hair exactly how they wanted to wear their hair and still look beautiful and still feel beautiful, every single one of them, their 4C hair, every single one of them had a white man on their arm. And I'm not here to say that that's the best form of love that a black woman can experience, but what I am trying to say is, like, the stats are not looking good for black men. So I know that y'all get mad in the comments and you want to talk about how I'm whitewashed and whatever. I'm half African, half African-American from Memphis, Tennessee. I know my history, I know my culture, and I'm here to say that I am not interested in taking leadership from a black man. I am not interested in taking pro-black leadership from a black man. I don't believe in that. Now, one black man I think I can get behind is Malcolm X. From what I've heard, I can tell that he really loved black women. And I recognize that. I want to get more into his literature, but I am not willing to change what I know in my gut is true to fit what I think a black man desires. Like, y'all are not loving dark-skinned black women the way that y'all should be. Y'all are not. Because if y'all did, we wouldn't be in these shitty situations. We would be able to depend on y'all. Not even me, but like women darker than me. Whatever. It's not all about skin tone. What I'm trying to say is we have to like reconstruct our entire idea of what it means to be black. Because if we are listening to people who hated half of the group of black people, if we're listening and taking ideas from a group that hated black women, that raped black women, or cheated on black women, why is that normalized and accepted? I don't agree with that. And it pisses me off when I see women defend misogynoir, if that's how you pronounce it, misogynoir. I hate that. Because so you did all this research, all this literature, you read all these books, but you formed an idea of blackness that centers around the black man, and you are a black woman. That to me is a form of self-hate. So I would rather be ignorant and listen to my own intuition than like take leadership from another black man who hated black women, to be completely honest with you. And we don't even know what liberation looks like for black women being centered. We still have not got to that part of history yet. So really, we don't even know if the civil rights era did us the most good. We don't even know what the best form of community could be, because black women are still being oppressed and not seen and not heard and not valued. And I don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with that at all.
I can't believe in 2025 I'm seeing a video of a sister say how she think that white men love dark-skinned black women more. She talks about how black men are misogynist, colorist. Yes, they can be. However, the violence that we experience from black men is because we are in proximity to black men. We are in community with them. So we experience their misogyny first. However, if we were in community with white men, we would be experiencing misogyny and racism all the time. White men barely like white women. Open your eyes. Have you not seen America lately? And then she goes to name Martin Luther King, how he cheated on his black wife with a white woman. Even if that were the case, and that was not just FBI propaganda, MLK was one man. Now, yes, we have our own problems within our community, but you are not going to convince me that I'm going to find love in the arms of the originator of racism and misogyny, the white man.
Yeah. Huh? And I see what y'all are saying about alchemy. Yeah, she don't know what the hell she talking about. It's all justification for her weird ass worldview. White men have had decades and centuries to show their love for black women, both in a intimate romantic sense, but the love of black women as human beings, even if it's not romantic and intimate. And where have white men in aggregate shown that? Where? Is it when they call black women welfare queens? Is it when they purposely degender or misgender black women? Huh? Is it when they're okay with watching black women suffer in the hospital and die? Is it when they're okay with watching black women pass birthing children, or the children pass? Huh? Is it when they're mocking and making fun of the first black first lady and insulting her by calling her all type of man? Or is it when they make fun of and mock arguably the best not even arguably, the best female tennis player in history and call her a man? See, what black women engage in and what a lot of women of color engage in is they'll talk about Alexis Ohanian. Oh, look, she got up with a white man because them black men wasn't on her level type talk. And completely and purposely ignore the hundreds and thousands of white men who've been attacking Serena and Venus since Serena and Venus were children, not women, but little girls. This is what women of color, black women specifically, always engage in. One white man end up with that woman, and all of the crap that that woman had to go through concerning white men no longer exists. It never happened. And God forbid one black man said something off color, untoward about Serena, then that justifies all the misandrous talk about black men. We're going to ignore the white men, and then we're going to, no, we hold black men to a different standard. Black men should know better. No, y'all are cowards. It's not that you hold black men to a different standard. Black men should know better. Black men are black. They shouldn't engage in that. No, that's not your real issue. Alexis Ohanian ends up with Serena, and so all of a sudden, all of the adult white men who attacked two little black girls, all of that gets washed away. All of the white men who call Serena Williams all type of monkey, all type of man, all type of bad built, all type of too muscular, too masculine, aggressive. All of the sexist stereotypes, all of the racist stereotypes, all of that no longer exists because Serena got her a white man now, and he married her. That's what this young lady is engaging in. One white man ends up with one black woman, and all of a sudden, all the racist white men no longer exist. All the colorist white men no longer exist. One white man ends up with one dark-skinned black woman, and all the colorist white men no longer exist. All the colorist Latino men, South Asian men, East Asian men, Southeast Asian men no longer exist, don't you know? Perfect time to read this. And KMS says, face down, ass up diplomacy, global and domestic. And to prove that, see, I don't know how many of y'all saw this. I know we've been having conversations lately about Akash and his wife, but how many of y'all seen this? Uh-oh.
Don't blame the brown girls for going to white men. Blame yourself and your friends for being trash options. Now, before you're like, wait, Justine, not all brown men are trash. Okay, fine. Fair, it doesn't apply to you. But these are like 3 kind of surefire ways to know if you're trash. So number 1, if you consistently prioritize your mom over your girl, it's a telltale sign. Number 2, if you think she's nagging or being annoying or she's being clingy when really she just wants like emotional validation and maybe just wants some quality time where you're not like glued to your phone. Number 3, I think this one is a little bit iffy, but like if you listen to Punjabi music but you're not Punjabi and you call your friends the N-word and you smoke a lot in the car and you drive really fast, you know what I mean? It gives that vibe of trash. Now that's like could be more of a in-between. I'm very thankful for my brown king. I think my husband's more, knock on wood, like the exception to the rule, but he's a good template to follow. Again, don't be offended. If you're not trash, you're not trash. Great, find a nice brown girl. But if that sounded a little too familiar, you might be trash.
This is why when we have these weirdo divester swirler women, Mr. Z, Edward Anderson, and the like, tell white men to come get them.
Mario, Jorge, Cartwright, Shane Son, we got a thrift store of leftover bitches. They're leftover because apparently it ain't enough niggas is worth a damn. Whatever. Point is they left over. We need you to come pick them up. No instruction manual. Figure it out. Sprinkle some white ice on it. Maybe, I've heard the white ice is colder. Sprinkle some white ice on it. It goes with everything. If you come within the next 24 hours, we'll give you a complimentary book on how to date black women for white men. That's a $4 value.
And shout out to Ed. Shout out to Ed. So, Akash, you didn't understand that your wife is a white worshiper? So not only is she speaking about waking up with a sore butthole with white men, she was talking about popping that cat at white frat parties. And now she's saying to other South Asian men, don't blame brown women for their white worship. See, this is what happened when you dudes, you quote unquote exception to the rule dudes. I'm not like those others. Huh? I'm not a manosphere guy. I'm not a red pill guy. This is what y'all get. And you deserve it. Because the signs are in your face, but you so bad want to be the exception to the rule that y'all let women, in this case, women of color, play in your face. Huh? I played this to emphasize rewriting history for Wyte Zaddy. Akash wife is speaking as if white men don't smoke weed, say the N word, and drive fast. White men don't do that? White men are not mama's boys? No, y'all worship white men, you weirdo South Asian. What and the difference between her and Mindy Kaling is? The difference between her and Nikki Haley is? Oops. The difference between her and Bobby Jindal's daughter is? Oops. Wrong person, not Bobby Jindal, Dinesh D'Souza. The difference between her and Dinesh D'Souza's daughter is? All these little South Asian women, white male worshippers. But they always got an excuse. Huh? Shout out to you, Usha Vance. Oops. Huh? Put the microphone in their face, and this is what you get. And Akash's wife, well, is married to Akash, and she still found a way to jab at the South Asian men. Oh, you gotta love it. Women of color, you put a microphone in their face, and they start they start beatboxing on the microphone because they think it's a white microphone. Uh-oh. Huh? Yeah. Earth, I see the moves. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna go that far with it, Earth. There's a reason why I'm not highlighting it. But I'm not gonna go that far. But hey, but look, that magical baby bump, I'm just saying where that came from. Where did that magical baby bump come from? I'm just saying. Anyway, huh? Boy, we just went back to the old days of Europe with all of the weirdness. This is truly monarchy. There's just all type of weirdness going on. The elites doing whatever the hell they want to do. All type of weirdness. This person getting knocked off. Months later, their wife, their widow shows up pregnant. What? Wait, what? Huh? Anyway, we gonna leave that one alone. Moving along. Huh? So Akash, you signed up for this. You signed up for this. Too many of you men. And this is why, look, to some of the young brothers, Mr. Z doesn't want to radicalize you. Mr. Z's goal is not to make you hate women, not to make you hate black women. Mr. Z prefers black women. Mr. Z's engaged to a black woman, ADOS black woman. It is to prepare you for the insanity as you traverse this world. The insanity coming from non-black folks, the insanity coming from black women. Appreciate this. Other women of color. This is not a conversation that the mainstream entertains. In the mainstream is a conversation, and they don't even really talk like that. It's really black men that they go after with the white female worship talk. But no one in the mainstream wants to have a conversation about women of color and how invested they are in white patriarchy and the validation of white men towards them. No one wants to speak about what white male hegemony around the planet for centuries now, what it did to the minds of women of color globally. Some of your white nationalists will brag about this occasionally on the internet and on social media, but your everyday layman, particularly white person, doesn't actually want to have that conversation of how invested women are in white patriarchy. That's white women, clearly, Latinas, Asians, black women, etc. South Asian women, East Asian women, indigenous women. And when you allow for them to speak, particularly in the West, because they're in proximity to white men, when you allow for these women to speak, you will be surprised. We won't in the Black manosphere, but you will be surprised how many women of color in specific seek the validation of white men so far that they will rewrite history, huh? To make men of color, in our case, black men, the villains of history, huh? And allow for white men to wash their hands of all the ill-gotten gains, huh? So appreciate that some of you men of color are in a relationship with and are married to women who are only with you because the white man that they were checking for, they didn't end up with. They wanted somebody, they wanted a white man like who Bobby Jindal, I keep on saying Bobby Jindal, my apologies, Dinesh D'Souza daughter ended up with. That's the white boy they wanted. They couldn't get him. It was bum ass frat boys, drunkards that was giving them some type of play. I played the clip once of the South Asian woman that told you the white dude walked up to her and said, I bet you that vagina tastes like curry. Yawn, corny. That's the type of weirdo stuff they get an approach with. They didn't give up on dating the white dude. You just came along and you put some more money on the table and they win. A Kosh, huh? But do you know how many South Asian women will sign up for the JD Vance plan? Huh? Look how many of these South Asian women are going from Nikki Haley to Usha Vance to Dinesh D'Souza's daughter to Mindy Kaling. They going, huh? We're not even speaking about the East Asian women right now. We paused on the conversation about black women. They will rewrite history for white Zaddy, huh? So let me read that comment then. Um, and a split Jim says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And a split Jim says, looked at this woman's page. She was posting anything that would trend from how to sell content and femininity, and now she has hit gold. Okay, so okay, I see what you're saying. So she just, I guess, rage baiting or just trying to find her lane. So she's trying to pull with a pearl, or pearly things, or just pearly things. Eh, I will say this though. I don't know how much of this she doesn't believe, right? And there is something to be said about repeating something over and over again and then start to believe it. Because I don't know how many people are really good at selling the soap that they don't believe and selling the soap day in and day out and they don't believe it. Huh? And once again, a split Jim, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. I would say I think she believes this. Now she could have just been trying to find her lane and find what would be enraging enough or what would allow for more black women to subscribe to her or whatnot or follow her. With that, how much does she not believe it? Huh? And the swirl of divestor talk is just icing on the cake because black women are definitely going. And you have to appreciate even Olay from Olay and Friends, even Olay had to say, like, some of these divestors, she even got into it with divestors in their rewriting of history concerning white men. Appreciate, we are in the 21st century. We are ending out 2025. Shout out to the people who are going to listen to this next year. Put the comment down in the comment section, right? To the folks that have come up on this in 2026, 2027 even. We are ending out 2025. You have folks who they don't read, they don't watch documentaries, they don't know anything concerning the 1990s. What is Mr. Z saying? They don't even know about the 2000s. They don't know about the .com bubble or Y2K. They don't know anything about 9/11 or the Twin Tower situation in the early 90s. I purposely said situation and not what actually occurred. Trying to protect the channel here. Huh? They don't know anything about that. Huh? They don't know about Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall. They don't know nothing about that. The fall of the Soviet Union, they don't know, and they don't care to know. They don't know how long the Cold War existed, and they don't care to know. Huh? What's a Mao? What's a Stalin? Huh? Read my lips. No, no new taxes. They don't know nothing about that. George H.W. Bush. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. They don't know they don't know any of it, and they don't care to know. If it didn't happen during the internet age, and even if it did, if their favorite content creators didn't talk about it, it didn't happen. The Cuban Missile Crisis, they don't know nothing about that. Notice Mr. Z going further and further back past many past where many of us were born. At the time many of us were born. Huh? Do y'all appreciate when y'all see these young folks giving a speech about Martin Luther King and they speak like Martin Luther King is the one who freed the slaves? Huh? Because they conflate the 1960s with the 1860s? Huh? That's the era we're in. One of y'all was saying something last stream about how this young lady who said, you know, if anybody she could listen to is Malcolm X, she don't know nothing about Detroit Red. She don't. I put money she never watched that the Spike Lee Malcolm movie. I put money she never did. She don't know nothing about no Detroit Red. Huh? They don't know and they don't care to know. Huh? So it's easy for them to rewrite history in their mind, and the black man is my oppressor. You see what Mr. Z just did there? I'm just saying. Huh? Shout out to Muhammad Ali. It's not the Viet Cong, it's black men. It's not even white men, it's black men. Black men are their oppressor. In their mind, black men playing the dozens with black women is akin to black men being the oppressor. Huh? And shout out to all you black feminists. You got what you wanted because a number of these young black women are childless in hell as hell, excuse me, essentially politically single and politically lesbian. You got what you wanted because the white men ain't scooping them up and they're too insufferable for any black men to do anything with. And there you go. Huh? Now let me read this and then I'll read KMS's super chat. As Split Jim continues, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. As Split Jim continues and says, excuse me, yeah, she is a believer that found her alignment, as she states in a video that says, align with your content. I'm making a point to Ed Anderson's hate black men economy phrase. Yeah. Yeah. It is hate black men economy. And there's a lot of money to get from that. Everybody could engage in that, including other black men. The hate black men economy. This is why, shout out to Trell Bentley, we came up with Negroes Ain't Ish Industrial Complex. Huh? And just like the military industrial complex, you have lobbyists. Huh? You got people always trying to sell their wares, hiking up the price of military equipment. Huh? Lying about technology, lying about how far this thing could go. It's the same thing with the Negroes Ain't Ish Industrial Complex. You're going to keep on selling the same message. You're going to keep on selling hopium to black women in specific concerning these mythical, magical white men or any non-black man. You're going to keep on disparaging black men. You're going to tell black women it's even better to be single than be on a black man's program. What program? Huh? The beauty of the internet and social media and modernity is that we get to see the cost of this on black women. It's not speculation. We're now living 60 and 70 and 80 years ago. Huh? We're in the 21st century. High-speed internet. Huh? We can see instantly what the cost of black women's quote-unquote autonomy is. Their anti-black man rhetoric, we can see what that cost them. We see the marriage rates. We see the black female poverty, the black female eviction. We're watching as Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and JD Vance rip apart. I've said this before, that whole house of cards that so many women were standing on, namely black women, white women, and Latina women, but even some Asian women. That whole house of cards, particularly black and Latina women, obviously some white women, were hiding under. And yet you have black women like this. Even after the whole Danish deception situation, we just watched what happened to that Nigerian young lady, Onyeka. We just watched that. And yet this young lady's still talking like this. It doesn't end. Maybe once or twice a month at the least, you have one of these situations. Mr. Z gonna cover it so that we can document this, move on, document the next thing, move on, document the next thing. We're going to wake up in a decade. We're going to wake up in 2 decades. More and more of your sons and nephews are going to be married out, dating out. Huh? More and more black women are going to be chronically single, same-sex loving relationships. A few of them will have mixed children, but no man in sight. Not a white man, not a black man, not a Latino man. You will have black women with mixed children and same-sex loving relationships with other black women with mixed children. Huh? And you could quote me on that. Say it again, Z, for the people in the back. You will start to see more and more black women in same-sex loving relationship, and both of them have mixed children. Huh? Both of them, child or not, would have been in situationships, whatever they want to call it. They want to call it a relationship to make themselves feel better with non-black men, particularly white or Latino men. Mark my words on that one. That one y'all could quote. That one y'all could write down. It's already happening, Z. I know. Huh? So Split Jim, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. That one is going to happen. And KMS says, excuse me, and thank you for the super chat. If a Split Jim is right, and this chick is just quote unquote hating for the content, then she's worse than I thought. But right on brand. Women keep women single, none more so than black women. Sheesh. Oh yeah. Right. We have the content that backs that up. We have the content where black women are telling other black women, hey, if he can't buy you exorbitantly, then why the hell are you there?
This is what I tell average looking and below average looking women. If you can't date up, be alone. Life is easier that way. And I know that's controversial. I don't care.
Huh? Yeah, black women are all over the place talking like that.
The only time having a boyfriend is worth it is when he is able to fully support you and pay all your bills. I said it, and I'll say it again. The only time a man who is your boyfriend, he's not your husband, if you're going to be a girlfriend to someone, he needs to be paying all your bills. Otherwise, why is he there? What is his purpose? If he's not, he's just...
Huh? Yeah. You're going to have that. Women keeping other women single, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Black women in specific keeping black women single. Recall, we have black women keeping black women single when black women are struggling. And I gotta play that clip. I'm gonna go find that clip. Oh, you know what? Who played it? Coach Greg Adams played it. And I want to say it was a white woman because I was listening. I was doing something at the time. Regular streams, don't put in the comments. Don't put in the comments. Where I want to say it was a white woman that said, "Yeah, we don't have it like that. We're not doing well financially, but we would rather be essentially, I'm paraphrasing. We would rather be struggling financially than be with you black men not black men, you men that want us to go 50-50 and then treat us like whatever," she said. And yeah, so continuing, the women are willing to die on the hill and be impoverished for their pride and their ego, and Mr. Z is all for it. Huh? Shout out to you, Dr. Richard Reeves. Shout out to you, Professor Galloway. Huh? No, the women said they would rather be single in the struggle, and the men said, I bet. The women said, what program? We ain't doing 50-50. We're not even doing 60-40 where you earn 60%. We're not doing it. And the men said, I bet. Huh? Women keeping other women single. Black women keeping other black women single. Huh? So yeah, KMS, the being on brand and selling the Negroes ain't ish and get you a white man and white male worship talk, we're witnessing the limitations of that. The marriage rate is going down across the board. As I've said before, the folks that are getting married and more than likely to stay married are the top 20, 25-ish% of Americans, which by and large, black people don't fit into. Okay. So for this black woman to then turn around and advocate for black women to couple up with white men, where the math don't even make sense because white men in the bottom 75-80% are marrying less and less to even white women. Huh? okay, forget marriage, are coupling up less and less. Everybody forgot there's a whole white manosphere out here. So black women, like this young lady, is saying the white men who are throwing a fit that they're not ending up with white women are going to then turn around and end up with black women. And then on top of that, darker skinned black women. Now we already know black women are the most overweight demographic in America by percentage of their population. So white men who are strict in aggregate, who are strict about their standard when it concerning weight and how that aligns with the European beauty standard, huh? The contemporary, European beauty standard. Those same white men who are strict about weight requirement concerning white women are then going to date, marry, not just have kinky triple X fun with, but date and marry black women who statistically are the most overweight demographic in America. That's what this young lady is saying. And not only that, end up with dark skinned black women who are statistically the most overweight demographic in America. This is why Mr. Z says, going to the title, rewriting history for Wyte Zaddy. Because that's all this is. Rewriting history for Wyte Zaddy. This is what it has to be called because the facts don't even align. The math don't math. Where are all these white men who are marrying overweight black women, dark-skinned black women, who value dark-skinned black women, including overweight dark-skinned black women, which is the majority of black women? And then on top of that, because we know what 60 some odd percent of black women have a child by the age of 24 years old, what we're saying is white men are going to look out for, pay for, potentially marry, because we're doing the math here. Appreciate the breadcrumbs Mr. Z is dropping here. White men are going to date, then marry black women over the age of 25 who are statistically more than likely to have at least one child, more than likely from a black man. Okay, fine. Those same white men are going to date, then marry a black woman with more than likely a black child. And if he waits until the age of this black woman being 28, 29 years old, it is very possible that she has two children from two different men. And then the white man is going to turn around and marry that black woman. Okay, yeah, that's it. Mhm. The math checks out. Yep. Yep. And KMS, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Yep. Huh? And Trell Bentley says, but Gabby Sidibe, right? Yeah, and that's one. Now we appreciate for black women, all they need to do is see one and look and say, oh, so it's possible. Okay, yeah. Everyone, we are just documenting this so that no one says in the future they don't know what the hell happened between black men and black women, but black men out here living their best lives, all coupled up with Latinas and white women and Asian women, and they're traveling and doing all these things. And black women are out here, the concubine class of America. Yes, there will be black women who are coupled up with one or two white dudes, a handful of black men, one or two Latinos, and half an Asian dude. Yeah, it's going to happen. But as you see more and more, because it's still the majority already, black women just out here chronically single, just freestyling and being the concubine class for all men. and women. Remember that we documented this and we spoke about this, right? And in Inspired Truths is, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Inspired Truths is the most impactful innovation in human history is history equals truth, right? Or may not equal truth, right? So yeah, but what happens when you rewrite that? And we already know, huh? The spoils of victory, right? Go to the victor. We appreciate that. But what did black women win to be rewriting history? Or are they rewriting history for their benefactors, white men? Like watching women of color, in our case, namely black women, rewrite history, it's fascinating. And they're doing it in real time. Like we know that white men are going to try to rewrite history and water down slavery and water down their participation in colonization, particularly America's participation in colonization and the mass deletion of indigenous folks and the enslavement of black folks. They're going to minimize it and water it down, and they're going to ask stupid questions. Like, I mean, being enslaved was better than staying in Africa, right? And being impoverished and, in grass huts or whatnot. Wasn't it better to be our property? Huh? We know white men are going to play that game. Watching women of color play that game is just fascinating. And then watching women of color play that game in attempts to get validated by white men who just refuse to do it in any significant number. Talk about desperate, loser, and begging. Watching women of color rewrite history is just fascinating.
Don't blame the brown girls for going to white men. Blame yourself and your friends for being trash options. Now, before you're like, wait, just not all brown men are trash. Okay, fine. Fair, it doesn't apply to you. But these are like 3 kind of surefire ways to know if you're trash. So number 1, if you consistently prioritize your mom over your girl, it's a telltale sign. Number 2, if you think she's nagging or being annoying or she's being clingy when really she just wants like emotional validation and maybe just wants some quality time where you're not like glued to your phone. Number 3, I think this one is a little bit iffy, but like if you listen to Punjabi music but you're not Punjabi and you call your friends the N-word and you smoke a lot in the car and you drive really fast, you know what I mean? It gives that vibe of trash. Now that's like could be more of a in-between. I'm very thankful for my brown king. I think my husband's more, knock on wood, like the exception to the rule, but he's a good template to follow. Again, don't be offended. If you're not trash, you're not trash. Great, find a nice brown girl. But if that sounded a little too familiar, you might be trash.
You might be trash. You gotta love it, huh? So, Inspired Truth. Funny enough, the truth. The women don't care nothing about that. They think they can like will their way into being chosen by the man, the white man. It's beautiful that we have these things recorded. And shout out to Vince. I do need to get a hard drive and download all of these videos, right? Because we need to keep this recorded for eternity if we can. Watching women beg and plead the white man for validation is insane. These are the same people that claim to be anti-patriarchy, anti-systems of oppression, anti-hierarchical systems, and they want justice and freedom and liberation and their autonomy. And then you start talking about intimacy, relationships, etc., money and status, and all of a sudden they make sure they go tuck themselves real nice and neat under the scrotum of white men. Huh? It's fascinating watching these women of color pull this little fake ass magic trick. They're all anti-patriarchy, but then they want to end up with the white man. And then they think they're doing something slick if they're leftist white, Freudian slip there. If they're leftist women of color by ending up with these supposed liberal, air quotes, liberal white men. Watch this. But is he still white? Yeah, but he doesn't believe it. But is he still white? So does he still not get all the privileges of being white? So doesn't that allow for you to talk all that feminist crap while you're in a relationship with a white man? Looking at you, Mr. Blasio. Oops. Huh? Doesn't that allow for you to talk all that feminist crap and autonomy crap and freedom and liberation crap and that female empowerment crap while you're with the man, the white man? Oh, I forgot he's an ally, so it don't count because he says the same thing you say. Yeah, about that. Anti-systems of oppression and hierarchy, but you ended up with the white dude. Yeah. Who needs truth in history when you got white men and women of color rewriting history to make the men of color the boogeyman, particularly black men in our case? Gotta love it. Inspired Truth, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Huh? Ah. And J-Log says, Z, you seen Asian women coming out saying that Asian women need to stop worshiping white men? I've seen one or two clips, but if you don't mind sending me what you have or what you've seen, y'all already know. Just emails in the description box. I keep my email in the description box every stream. If y'all see something y'all want me to review or speak about, send it, please and thank you. But yeah, J-Log, I've seen a couple of videos. I don't know how many of them I have saved though. But yeah, it. Everyone knows what this is. Well, actually, I have to take that back. Rewind. Not everyone knows what this is, and that's frightening. Maybe I have to review once again, because we do it maybe two or three times a year, the dating divide again. And the look on Dr. Chantal Buggs's face and the look on Dr. Jennifer Lundquist's face when they have to concede and say that race is the determining factor and who we end up with. And both of them were surprised to see marginalized groups and women of color essentially chasing after white men. These are women. One of them is a fully white woman. One of them is a mixed black and white woman. And both of them spoke of women, including, and they emphasize this, women of color seeking white male validation. I will continue to say this and scream this from the mountaintops. To anyone that will listen, you are not going to change the appetite of the women. You are not going to change the appetite of the men. All you're going to do is make it more and more difficult for the men and the women in the bottom 80 or so odd percent to couple up. And if this is not class warfare, you tell me what is. Huh? If we have essentially stripped the bottom 80% of men, 75, 80% of men, of performing manhood, and now it's essentially the top 20 and 25% of men who get to perform manhood. They have the leisure time, they have the income, they have the status, and they get to hoard the wealth, the opportunities, the women, the sex, the neighborhoods, all of it. The vacations, the experiences, the knowledge, the education. Well, damn. You do not change the appetite of the women. All the women will just huddle up on the top 20 and 25% of men. That does not mean the bottom 80 and 75% of men don't get little vagina here and there and have little experiences here and there. But what it would be about is it will be about the top 20 and 25%. Those will be the people, and we see this based off the numbers, namely from white men, those will be the people having the children in wedlock. Those will be the people married for 2+ decades. Those will be the people whose children then turn around and meet each other in university and college, and then they end up being married for 2+ decades. Those will be the people with the quote unquote generational wealth. Those will be your business owners, huh? Your entrepreneurs. Shout out to Mark Zuckerberg. Shout out to Jeff Bezos. Shout out to Bill Gates. Ooh, goddamn, Z. Huh? None of those men came from struggling and impoverished backgrounds. Huh? What did that 30 under 30 billionaire list say? Oh, wait, those were all the children and grandchildren of billionaires and millionaires already. Yeah, about that. None of them were self-made. Yeah. Uh-oh. And that was globally because the trend is global. You're not changing the appetite of the women. To all the technocrats, white, black, Latino, Asian, and otherwise. White, black, Latino, Asian, and otherwise. You're not changing their appetite. They just gonna be out here throwing temper tantrums and being the little sexual plaything for any one of the top 25% man. God forbid he's tall and good looking. So yeah, J-Lock, the Asian women saying we need to stop white male worship. Yeah, but it's embarrassing. Of course they're gonna say it. Are they gonna actually act on it? We've been known that that's the type of time they were on because of how cringe they felt with Mindy Kaling. Huh? How cringe they feel watching JD Vance throw his own goddamn wife under the bus. Huh? How cringe they feel to find out Nikki Haley just didn't marry her one white husband. She out here, huh? Doing strange things all over the place in the Carolinas with white dudes. Huh? Tila Tequila and whatnot. The man on the street interviews with these weirdo East Asian women talking about, oh, you know, the white guys overlooked me in high school. I wonder if that's why I might want to end up with one now as an adult. Some childhood rejection trauma crap. Yeah. But it's not just Asian women. We know this. Black women, Latina women. You let them talk long enough. Shout out to all the people who claim the women are just ones. Yeah, that's it. And thank you for the super chat, J Lux. Thank you for the super chat. Huh? And didn't forget about your other super chats, KMS. And Chef Butter Biscuit says, this is why I said treat them how other men do until proven otherwise. And thank you for the super chat. If other groups of men can have their fun, then so can we. Also, there is no quote unquote otherwise. You just find someone else. Look, I do think that black men especially should lead the way in the second you smell divester, the second you smell swirler, the second you smell white male worship. And I'm not just speaking about black women. The second you smell woman in luxury, and I'm not going to lift a finger, and I shouldn't have to lift a finger. And the second you smell that, I don't care how she look, you drop her. You turn off your libido and you drop her. You leave her there where she stands. The second she told you she did anything with a white dude, a Latino dude, an Asian dude, ever, you leave her where she stands. Black women should be afraid to say anything complimentary about anyone other than a black man in black men's presence. If Mr. Z had it his way, and double standard, because I don't care how black men talk about other women. Ooh, goddamn, Z. And I said it. Huh? Really, if you really want me, Mr. Z, to go there, if she dated other women before you leave her where she stand, make black women mean that. If white men are so great, Latino men are so great, Asian men are so great, they know how to treat black women, they're not colorist, featurist, texturist, make black women mean that by leaving them out there for those men. Stop trying to prove them wrong. Leave them out there for those men for eternity. Leave them out there in the elements.
Mario, Jorge, Cartwright, Shane Son, we got a thrift store of leftover bitches. They're leftover because apparently it ain't enough niggas is worth a damn. Whatever. Point is they left over. We need you to come pick them up. No instruction manual. Figure it out. Sprinkle some white ice on it. Maybe, I've heard the white ice is colder. Sprinkle some white ice on it. It goes with everything. If you come within the next 24 hours, we'll give you a complimentary book on how to date black women for white men. That's a $4 value.
Huh? Ah. Yeah, Terrell says, Z, do you still have the clip of the Latina who was screaming over white men imperialism? I still have it. It's somewhere in my phone. I still have it. And for all the new subscribers and listeners, yes, you heard right. Trell was correct. I will play it for y'all maybe next stream. No, Z, oh, please, no. Yep. And I ain't going to give no warning. Yes, y'all heard right. Yes, it was a Latina. Okay, looking, not hideous. Yes, she was bubbly and she was creaming and jizzing her panties, literally speaking about white male imperialism. Yes, she said it verbatim in those words. And yes, she did say people of color can learn something from white men in their imperialism. Yes, you heard correct. Yes, she said that. Yes, she said that in those words. No, Mr. Z is not paraphrasing. I'll play it for y'all. No, Z, you lying. For all my day ones, they'll tell y'all in the comments, no, I'm not. Huh? No, I am not. What men of color are realizing, and maybe even some working class white men, working poor white men, but what men of color in particular are realizing, and Mr. Z been saying, huh? Shout out to BGS. Leave them on the lot, send them back to the manufacturer. Women of color in the West belong to the white man. God damn, Z, you hurting our heart. I know. What you saw with Kevin Samuels when he spoke to that, who she was, a psychologist, a therapist, and she struggled to say that black women belong to black men. Yeah, because black women belong to white men. But don't get it twisted, black men. Asian women belong to white men. Latina women belong to white men. Huh? Indigenous women belong to white men. That's why y'all had that, and I still didn't watch it yet. That Flower Moon documentary / movie, whatever the hell it was, docu-series, whatever, with a bunch of indigenous women disappearing, getting deleted by white dudes. Yeah, because they were hot in the ass for them white men. All the women in the West belong to the white man. God damn, Z, you hurting my heart. I know. Don't expect them to admit it. Don't expect them to admit it. And the feminists are like, no, we belong to ourselves. I don't belong to no white man. Shut the hell up. They all belong to the white man. Huh? God damn, Z, I know. I know. Hurt heart, I know. Huh? Where's that coming from, J-Log? I'm looking. I'm looking. Not the super chat. J-Log said something about his aunt, said some crazy stuff like that. Where did it go? Where did it go? J-Log, I read that comment and it disappeared. Where did it go? I knew I should have highlighted it earlier. God damn it. Wait a minute. Y'all gives you a second. Y'all gives you a second. That's what I get for not reading it when I saw it. Anyway, J-Lock said something along the lines of his aunt said some weirdo stuff like that, that it was better that black folks were enslaved than in huts in Africa, something along those lines. Yeah, see, I'm not gonna say you're not gonna meet one or two black men that say some weirdo stuff like that, but at least from Z's experience, the black folks that are more likely to say something like that are black women. It's gonna be a hard lesson for a lot of black women to appreciate that the way black men see America and history concerning being black is not necessarily the way black women see it. And what you're witnessing is the difference in being the outgroup woman and being the outgroup man. And no matter how much you see some of these weirdo feminists trying to use intersectionality a certain way, fundamentally, being the outgroup woman is not as visceral as being the outgroup man. It's not as you're on the outside, period, point blank, and there's nothing you can do about it, and we're going to be mean about it, and we're going to hurt you, and we're going to put it on camera. We're going to delete you. We're going to put it on camera. We're going to mock you. We're going to put it on camera. We're going to disparage you every second of every day. Because being the outgroup woman, there's still that glimmer of hope that you can be chosen upon and be brought into the big house, right? And because the way femininity works, if you're a black woman and you get chosen upon by any non-black man with any modicum of stability and above, in a way you're quote unquote sheltered. Black men appreciate there is no shelter regardless of income and wealth. That's why our stress levels don't change with marriage. That's why our divorce rate, our health, there's no amount of wealth and income that saves you from being black. I.e., when LeBron was moving to LA and people were spray painting his house with all type of N-words, there is no shelter from that. Right? There is no shelter from being a black man when you're a black man. Now, you will have some LGBTQ black men that try to play up the sassiness and the switching their hips to show white men they're not a threat to the white male patriarchy, so they get a 1/10 of a point off, right? But if you dark enough and big enough, pause, then that don't save you neither. Huh? Black women and other women of color have this glimmer of hope to be bought into the big house. Black men in particular know there is no shelter. There is no saving you from being black. No matter how much you minimize it, no matter how non-threatening you attempt to portray yourself as, there is no saving you. Huh? Trail says Don Lemon. We've seen it multiple times. Huh? There is no saving you. When you're the outgroup man, you're the outgroup man, period. Huh? So you're witnessing the different approaches in history and politics and worldview concerning black women, black men, and you saw that solidified with the Ice Cube effect. Other black men who were not in the know and saw that clip got a glimpse into the difference in the way black women view being black and the way black men view being black. Black women want certain set aside specifically for black women. These are the same women that then turn around and tell you black men are not on their level. They don't do the social math. They don't care to do the social math. Huh? If we continue to give, and let's say we try to do for black people in aggregate, but we keep on chipping off a couple of crumbs more for black women because they're black plus women, because that's how intersectionality informs us. We do that for the boys and the girls. We do that for the young adults. And then now it's time for these young adults to couple up. These young adults are 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29 years old, 30, 31, 32 years old. Okay, fine. And we've been chipping off a crumb or two extra for black girls and then women. And now that black woman has a master's and that black man has a bachelor's, if even a high school diploma. That black woman now is white collar, earning $85,000 a year. That black man is blue collar, earning $60,000 and $55,000 a year. Huh? How is this supposed to work when we know women, not just black women, women tend to want to date up, marry up, and practice hypergamy? Who's doing the social math? To the women from quote unquote queens and cocktails. Oh boy. Who's doing the math of when you scale this? Shout out to KMS. These people are not students of scale. When you scale this, how is this supposed to work for the same black women you advocate for, that black women should keep on having certain set-asides that black men and black boys don't get? Because how intersectionality informs y'all. How is this supposed to work for those same black women? Oh, y'all supposed to end up with the white men. How's that been working? I don't know, for the past, 6 decades. Huh? Ah. Huh? Oh, it's not supposed to work. It's not working. So yeah, Chef Butter Biscuits. You know, other groups of men have their fun with black women. I am really fully with the, if she ever did anything with anyone other than a black man, you leave her where she stands. I know some of y'all are saying, why date black women in any way? That's not gonna scale, at least in the near future, right? I still think we get to like close to 50-50. Black men are still gonna end up with black women, right? It might get to a little bit less than 50% one day, but black men are still going to end up with black women. But there are signs that this black woman, or quite frankly, any woman, is with you because you're the consolation prize. She had much rather be with Bartholomew the Third white dude, or White Mike in the Hood white dude, Chet Hanks and whatnot. No? Perfect example of a white man who grew up rich, the son of a famous rich white man, and still decided to get super tatted up and do the hood thing, and huh? And got a black baby mama, Jamaican descent, if I'm not mistaken. Huh? Yeah. And the difference between him and his older brother, oh boy. If y'all ever seen them in interviews together, it's fascinating. You leave women of color, particularly, obviously, black women, where they stand if they ever did anything with a white man, anything with any non-black man. But obviously, for black women, there's no fixing that. Even more especially, she give you any whiff of that swirler divester, or I went over there to white men because I thought they were better, and you leave them where they stand. They're gonna come up with excuses about colorism and featureism from black men, and the black boys in high school didn't find me attractive, and the black boys at college weren't checking for me, and that's why yawn. I grew up in the suburbs, and that's why yawn. Leave them out there for white men, Latino men, and Asian men. And if those men never pick her up, then leave her out there for her dad forever. For eternity. Because what you gonna be, the consolation prize? Where she's always mentally comparing you to the mythical, magical white man she thought she was gonna end up with? Have fun with that. See you in divorce court. Yeah. Comparing you to the suave Latino guy that she was supposed to end up with? Huh? The nerdy Asian dude she was supposed to end up with? See you in divorce court. Huh? And Black Widow says, and didn't the black baby mama turn on Chet? Chet? Yeah, I've seen the video. I've seen the video with his bloody ass forehead. I've seen it. Right? Ah, right. Yeah, I've seen the video. Because as we say here, Brad's gonna Brad eventually, and Keisha's gonna Keisha eventually. Eventually, Brad's gonna Brad, and Keisha's gonna Keisha. And then now what? Huh? And then what? I'm really trying to look for this damn comment from J-Lock. Y'all gives you a second. I'm trying to see, because I know I saw it. I glanced at it, told myself I was going to come back to that comment, and then I let it go, and I'm looking for it right now. Y'all gives you a second. There we go. There, we found it. Haha. And J-Lock says, my aunt said that BS, Z. I looked at her crazy. And then he continues. He says, talking about slavery was a better option than being in huts. Yeah. Once again, the way black women view history is different than the way black men view history. The way outgroup women in general, women of color, view history is different than, well, at least for black men, view history and being the ultimate outgroup man. Huh? Your aunt is not the first person to say something like this. Not the first black woman in specific to say something like this. Huh? Dr. T. Hassan Johnson showed something, I think it was in his community tab years ago. This got to be, oh man, like 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 5, maybe even longer than that, years ago, possibly 6 years ago. Dr. T. Hassan Johnson showed something, or was it, or did he even show it on one of his streams, of a black woman essentially saying what you said your aunt said? Huh? I want to say, which rapper was it? Boosie or was it Plies? One of them not said something, but addressed a woman that said something like that, black woman, clearly, years and years and years ago. Was it Plies? It might have been Plies. Ugh. Or it could have never even been. It could have been what's your boy, the comedian, the one that always is right there, Duval. Duval might have said something or addressed something like that years ago. I might be completely wrong. It might have been somebody else. But one of these entertainers, black entertainers, addressed something that a black woman said along those lines years ago. Also, yeah, black women keep on coming out the mouth all type of crazy like that, J-Log. because they're out-group women. They're not out-group men. So, of course, they romanticize the idea of being in the big house. Huh? Was it Snoop? I don't think it was Snoop. If I don't, I'm sorry, y'all, because it was years and years ago, right? It was years and years ago. I want to say it was on their Instagram. This was forever ago, so it could have been anybody. I don't even remember. Oh, wait a minute. I missed that. No, I did. I got that earlier. And let's go up to KMS's original comments and KMS's. And thank you for the super chat. So segregation, apartheid, race-based slavery, all pioneered and maintained by white men, never happened. Zaddy always been down. These O's, I swear. Look, bro. KMS, they're going to rewrite history. They're going to rewrite history. And I hope, and thank you for the super chat, KMS, and I hope everyone didn't think they were safe. If y'all thought Mr. Z wasn't going to play some of this, oh, y'all don't know Mr. Z. Y'all know Mr. Z. Y'all know it, right? Torture.
This video is probably going to start some controversy, but I don't care because this is a common sentiment that I have heard both light-skinned women and dark-skinned women express, and it is a very common misconception, so let's debunk this. First thing y'all need to understand, white men do not see color in the same way that black men. So this preference for light skin, dark skin, whatever, typically does not translate over to white men. I am speaking in generalities here. Of course, everybody has their own preference, but typically this is not like a common preference you will see or hear expressed. But when you look at a lot of interracial couples between white men and black women, you will notice most of the women are brown skin or dark skin, but mostly brown skin. This is because of a couple things. One, there are more brown skinned women than there are light skin or dark skin. If we had a bell curve, right, you're gonna have some that are really dark, some that are really light, and everybody else is gonna kind of fall in between. So statistically, if a man is dating black women or has a preference for black women, period, regardless of skin tone, he's probably gonna end up with somebody that's brown skin. Now, think about how black men's preferences factor into this. We all know colorism very much exists within the black community, and light skinned women tend to be put on like this pedestal of the beauty standard. Again, I'm speaking very generally. I don't personally believe this. I'm speaking just on systemic issues that we all know exist. So now, when you have black men that are openly preferring light-skinned women, theoretically, it should be easier for us to date a black man than it would be for a darker-skinned woman. Because if this is their preference, they would pursue us more. So theoretically, that would leave more brown-skinned women and dark-skinned women for white men to pursue. So again, you have higher statistical chances of a white man who dates black women ending up with somebody who is not light-skinned. Now, typically, if a man who is not black is dating black women, he doesn't differentiate between like light-skin, dark-skin, whatever. He just sees black. He is not going to describe his girl as light skin or dark skin. He's just gonna say, oh yeah, my girlfriend's black. Now you have certain men that are gonna fetishize dark skinned women or fetishize ambiguous exotic women, but really they all fall into the same category for that. They all fall into the category of different. So while colorism absolutely exists outside of the black community, when it comes to dating, it's like hierarchy of light skin to dark skin is very much a black community thing. I grew up in Orange County, okay? There are like 5 black people in the whole county. I went to school with mostly white guys. I didn't know colorism existed.
We're gonna play it again. To say colorism is a black man thing on planet Earth, on Earth 616, third rock from the sun, to say colorism when you got the whole goddamn subcontinent of India and Pakistan and Bangladesh and all of them in Sri Lanka, etc., etc., to say colorism, and you have Latin America. The redemption of Ham is a literal painting. Oh, and it showed a black grandma praying to God because her grandchild ended up white, because her daughter ended up with a white man, because she ended up with a white man, and then her daughter ended up with a white man, and now the child, the grandchild, excuse me, is white. The redemption of Ham. And for you to say colorism is a black thing, and she means black American probably, a black thing, a black man thing, excuse me, a black man thing. Yeah. When we have videos of white men saying when they do date black women, they date light-skinned black women, mixed black women. Yeah. And the title for today's stream, once again, is Rewriting History for White Zaddy. Imagine saying that colorism is a black man thing when East Asians and South Asians and Latinas are putting on bleaching cream, lightening cream, not to appeal to black men, but to appeal to the men of their own demographic. Yeah. Colorism is a black man thing when you have indigenous looking Latina women straightening their hair and putting on lightening cream. South Asians, even in America, are practicing their caste-based system that is heavily influenced by skin tone and color. Yeah. The one place that doesn't get as much critique for their colorism is also practicing colorism. I'm looking at you, Middle Easterners in America. Huh? But black men are the colorist, everyone. Black men are the colorist. Southeast Asians, not colorist. South Asians, not colorist. West Asians, not colorist. East Asians, not colorist. Latin Americans, not colorist. Yeah. Indigenous folks in America, after centuries of white colonialism, not colorist. But you know who is the colorist? Black men. Yeah. Once again, the title for today's stream is Rewriting History for Wyte Zaddy. Who needs McGraw-Hill to rewrite history in Texas and in Florida? I don't even know if they're the ones who still write the books, but anyway. Who needs them to rewrite history and minimize slavery and Jim Crow and water it down and call it forced migration or labor? Huh? Yeah. Who needs that when we have black women like this weirdo? She's another crazy eyes. Shout out to Destro who showed her with the crazy eyes. Huh? Who needs it? Continuing.
This video is probably going to start some controversy, but I don't care because this is a common sentiment that I have heard both light-skinned women and dark-skinned women express, and it is a very common misconception, so let's debunk.
Mr. Z had to pause. I'm sorry, y'all. Thank you, Vince, because I couldn't get it out. You got it from, thank you. Shout out to PragerU. Who needs PragerU? Because we all seen that goddamn video, shout out to Candace Owens on bum ass, with PragerU minimizing the transatlantic slave trade and slavery in America, chattel slavery in America. Shout out to PragerU. Who needs PragerU when you have black women like this young lady rewriting history? Huh? Literally saying in the PragerU clip, slavery was better than being in Africa, right? Oh, you gotta love the rewriting of history, just to appeal to the white man or just to minimize the role of black men. Continuing.
This video is probably going to start some controversy, but I don't care because this is a common sentiment that I have heard both light-skinned women and dark-skinned women express, and it is a very common misconception, so let's debunk this. First thing y'all need to understand, white men do not see color in the same way that black men. So this preference for light skin, dark skin, whatever, typically does not translate over to white men. I am speaking in generalities here. Of course, everybody has their own preference, but typically this is not like a common preference you will see or hear expressed. But when you look at a lot of interracial couples between white men and black women, you will notice most of the women are brown skin or dark skin, but mostly brown skin. This is because of a couple things. One, there are more brown skinned women than there are light skin or dark skin. If we had a bell curve, right, you're gonna have some that are really dark, some that are really light, and everybody else is gonna kind of fall in between. So statistically, if a man is dating black women or has a preference for black women, period, regardless of skin tone, he's probably gonna end up with somebody that's brown skin. Now, think about how black men's preferences factor into this. We all know colorism very much exists within the black community, and light skinned women tend to be put on like this pedestal of the beauty standard. Again, I'm speaking very generally. I don't personally believe this. I'm speaking just on systemic issues that we all know exist. So now when you have black men that are openly preferring light-skinned women, theoretically, it should be easier for us to date a black man than it would be for a darker-skinned woman, because if this is their preference, they would pursue us more. So theoretically, that would leave more brown-skinned women and dark-skinned women for white men to pursue. So again, you have higher statistical chances of a white man who dates black women ending up with somebody who is not light-skinned. Now, typically, if a man who is not black is dating black women, he doesn't differentiate between like light-skinned, dark-skinned, whatever. He just sees black. He is not going to describe his girl as light-skinned or dark-skinned. He's just going to say, oh yeah, my girlfriend's black. Now, you have certain men that are going to fetishize dark-skinned women or fetishize ambiguous, exotic women, but really they all fall into the same category for that. They all fall into the category of different. So while colorism absolutely exists outside of the black community, when it comes to dating, it's like hierarchy of light-skinned to dark-skinned is very much a black community thing. I grew up in Orange County, okay? There are like 5 black people in the whole county. I went to school with mostly white guys. I didn't know colorism existed until I got to college and was around black men. I had a few black female friends in high school of varying skin tones, and we were all treated the same. We ranged from dark skin to light skin. We were all around the same level looks-wise, and we all had similar body types. And I say this to show that the only real differentiating factor in our looks was skin color. We all had the same jokes made about us. White guys were all too intimidated to approach us for the same reason, because they saw us as other and then assumed that we only liked other because of that. Then I get to college, okay? I'm around black men. I'm hearing jokes about light skin this, dark skin this. I'm like, what is going on? They even outwardly said about different women multiple times, like, oh, she's cute, but she's only cute because she has light skin points. Light skin points, okay? That was a phrase that was frequently thrown around. White men are not out here giving light skin points or dark skin points, okay? Again, we are all just other, and our other category is black. If they want somebody who can maintain their white privilege or whatever other social status comes with being of their racial group, they're going to date a white woman, because the minute they step out of that, it doesn't matter if she's light skin or dark skin, okay? That privilege is not there. Being light skin does not give that same elevated privilege or feeling of superiority that it gives to some black men. So again, most white men who date black women are not discriminating amongst black women based on skin color. So if a white man dates black women, he is probably going to end up with somebody who is brown skin solely because there are more of them. And my hypothesis as to why you see more dark skinned women than light skinned women with white men is, again, these men do not have internalized self-hatred issues that are preventing them from dating women who look like them. So with the exception of a small percentage of white men who do have specific preferences, for the most part, when it comes to dating white men, black women of all skin tones are on an even playing field, which is simply not the case when dating within the black community. And I think this goes beyond just white men. If you are dating anybody who is not black or interested in dating anybody who is not black, don't let these preconceived notions of hierarchical beauty based on colorism get into your head, because they simply just don't exist in the same way.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So this is the video I promised you guys that I'll bring to you this evening. And honestly, I feel like this first lady hit the nail on the head. But before I go into the video, before I give my own opinion, I want you to watch another woman who says something about this, because I feel like a lot of black women are getting everything mixed up. You think that white men actually care about your skin color, but no, they don't care. A lot of white men don't see colors of black women the way black men see it. But before I go deep, watch this video first.
The white man is laughing at you. And let me tell you, white men are not laughing at black women. I'll give you a small secret. White men even prefer to do business with black women. There's a study that was issued. There's a conversation that Johan Rupert had. I don't know whether he had it on Power FM or another platform.
Yeah, it was a chairman's conversation.
Yes, and he was very accurate. But because black men, your egos are so fragile. You are inverted. That's what I call it. I call it an inverted psychological state of being. That's my own analysis. It's not there's no psychologist who did a study. Okay. Your egos are too high and your self-esteems are too low. It should be the other way around. Your self-esteems must be high and your egos must be there.
Why do black women hold white man's face to their chest?
I don't think it's a black woman thing, but I'll say this, it's comfortable. It's comfortable.
I don't know about you, but I am following a lot of couples, a lot of black women and white men couples. And guys, I can tell you for free, these guys don't care about skin color. I have seen white men with very dark skin black women, and I have seen them with brown skin black women. One thing you need to know is that outside black men, a lot of non-black men don't differentiate black women according to the shade of our skin color. Black men, listen, black men are so very colorless. Black men are extremely colorless, especially when it comes to black women. They are the people who position us according to our skin color and rate us according to our skin color. And this is in all black community. This is also like that in Africa. If you check Africa, you see that a lot of African women do bleach their skin, especially Nigerian women. This is because of the colorism in Nigeria, because if you have skin like mine or you have skin lighter than mine, you'll be considered more pretty than somebody who is very dark. Yes, this is the reason why some people bleach their skin. This is the reason why some people do everything to bleach their skin. Even among the women, if you look lighter, they will be like, oh, you are shopping money, you are on money, you're making money, you're enjoying your life. Basically, lighter skin is considered rich, is associated with richness, class. While dark skin is associated with poverty and everything that is bad, which come from self-hate. Nobody have insecurity and self-hate like black men do. But the thing is, they often project that to us. You see what that second woman said? That is true. Black men have high ego but very low self-esteem. But they project their low self-esteem on us, making it seem like black women are the problem. But black women are not the problem. The problem is a lot of black men have very low self-esteem, and they feel like if they are seen with a woman that have lighter skin color, that will make them come up as rich, that will make them come up as people who have money or who have class, which is the reason why you see when some black men make money, they start getting out of the race. They start getting those non-black women, they start going to them because they feel like that will boost their society status, that will boost their status in the society. Also, because of their low self-esteem, they feel like if they marry non-black women, that make them like big or rich, or if they marry someone, a black woman that is not very dark, it's like add to their status or add to whatever they mean in the world. If you check in the history of the world, the men that run outside of their race the most are black men. And the reason why they run outside of their race the most is because of skin color. Because a lot of these men that run outside of black race the most know that what they want in woman, when it comes to body type, they cannot find it outside of black race. But yet they go outside of black race because of skin color, because of the fact that they have low self-esteem. The thing is, they project all their low self-esteem on black women, making it seem like we are the problem. Also, because of the way they treat black women, it also affects us. So when you're going outside of your race to date, you'll be like, oh, since a black man rejected you because you're darker, that means a white man will not look at you twice. But that is a lie. Let me tell you what white men pay attention to. What white men pay attention to is mostly body type. Yes, if you talk about body type, I'll say yes, a lot of white men do pay attention to body type. A lot of non-black men do pay attention to body type. But aside that, skin color is not the problem. Skin color can never make any man be like, no, they don't like you. But even with your body type, there are a lot of men that love big women. There are a lot of white men that love big women. I have seen a lot of white men with big women, with big black women, like very full everywhere, big breast, big ass, everywhere full. I have seen them together. So do not let anybody gaslight you. Do not let anybody make you feel less attractive. Go out there, open your limitation, and see if you can find somebody that loves you. That your skin color that you feel that is stopping you from getting love within your race or within black race, go outside, another person will appreciate it. You see, non-black people see all black people the same. Yes. And the only place it matters more like is in Asia, because even here in China, some people will look at you and be like, oh, she's not very dark. That is the only way. But again, colorism is also high in Asia. But we are talking about white people. Once you're black, you're black. Yes, once you're black, you're black. There's nothing to add. There's nothing to remove. Once you're black, you're black. Again, let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this discussion. I see a lot of comments from my other video. I'm like, hey God, guys, you guys should have mercy on me. I honestly think that man is a white man, but he seemed like white passing black man. But I don't know. I don't know that he's mixed race. But guys, you guys should forgive me.
See, you still there? See, you still here? Oh yeah! Shout out to the African women getting into the conversation and also spreading a bunch of BS lies. Oh, you gotta love it. All right, everyone. So, white men like them big women now. Oh boy, white men of means, white men of status, white men with options and choices. World travelers, excuse me, the masters of the universe. They like them big women now. Now we can test this. You know how we can test it? We can look at all the tech bros. We can look at all the CEOs of the Fortune 500, and we can see which one of them is with a woman who is overweight. We can test this. We can test to see for all of the Fortune 500 CEOs that are white men, how many of them first are with a black woman, married to, how many of them are with an overweight woman, and how many of them are with an overweight black woman. I'll wait. Yeah. And to the clip of the lady who said, the African lady who said, white men would much rather do business with black women. One of you said it in the comments. Then why did they just fire a bunch of black women? Huh? To the title again, rewriting history for White Zaddy. Huh? Relevant said it. White men prefer to do business with black women, question mark. So why did they fire so many of y'all? Question mark. Exactly. It doesn't matter what the facts in the history say, what the data says. These women are operating from their feelings and they think they can will their crap ass delusions into reality. If I say it hard enough, pause, and long enough, pause, then maybe this will be the reality. Because I said it and this is the way I feel, this is what it is. Oh, okay. Because one man might have said it in a book, in an article, or in an interview, this is what it is. Where's the evidence of this? I'll wait. Now, historically, have black women been more employed than black men? Yes. But have black men earned more than black women? Yes. Have black men started more businesses than black women? Yes. Do black men employ or implore, better yet, more people than black women? Yes. Yeah, about that. We have more black male millionaires. We have more black men billionaires. Yeah, but white folks would rather do business with black women. Yeah. Because if we just say it and reiterate it over and over and over and over and over again, if we try to put white men in a pincer move to deny us in public, then maybe they'll embrace us in public. If we just come up with lies and then put a microphone in white men's face and say, don't you rather do business with black women over black men? Maybe if we put them in this pincer move, then maybe, not to cause an awkward situation, maybe they'll say, uh-huh. If we continue to call black men the real colorist and not white men, if we continue to emphasize that white men don't see that skin tone thing, that's a black man thing. Meanwhile, white men ain't choosing up on no black woman. Not at any real number. Wow. Rewriting history for white Zaddy. Rewriting history for white Zaddy. We are witnessing black women after black women telling you that black men are the real colorist. Black men are the abusers of black women. Black men hate black women. Now we're having the conversation of black men's fragile egos and low self-esteem. Oh, wait, said that the wrong way. Black men are egotistical and have low self-esteem simultaneously. And it's inverted. If y'all read through the comments for that video, you will see black woman after black woman after black woman. Yeah, girl, you right. Now, how many of those black women are with any man, let alone a white man? Crickets. Huh? We're gonna keep on seeing this. Black women, like many women in the West and in America, they're running for the exits, y'all. We know we've been hearing the swirler divester talk for well over a decade on the internet. Appreciate this. Black women are going to continue to do these weird ass appeals to white men and non-black men. White men and non-black men ain't budging. The ones that find black women attractive will end up with a black woman. The ones that find black women attractive enough to pipe, they will do that and they will leave and they will still end up with women of their own background. The ones that don't find black women attractive, they won't do anything with a black woman, point blank, period. All of this appeal, all of this character assassination of black men, all of this rewriting of history will do nothing to help the aggregate of black women. White men, Latino men, and Asian men don't care nothing about what black women are talking about. All this colorism, featureism talk that black women are speaking about. Now we're rewriting history, and now apparently black men are the real fat phobics and not white men. You imagine saying on the third rock from the sun, on God's green earth, on Earth 616, imagine saying that white men love them some big women. White men like big women. So white European men, white Latino men, white American men, white Canadian men, white Australian men, they like big women. So white men of means, the white men that can choose, the white men that are not limited. So good looking, tall, rich white men are choosing up on big women, let alone big black women. That's what we're supposed to believe. The white men that are the masters of the universe and that can choose upon any woman. He is not limited by looks, by height, by income, by status, by wealth, none of it. Those men are ending up with heavy-set women, particularly heavy-set, dark-skinned black women. Huh? That's what we're supposed to believe. And then we're supposed to also believe that the true colorists are black men. Not South Asian men, not European or white men, not East Asian men, not Latino men, not indigenous men. Black men are the colorists. Now, if I recall, and this was decades ago, when Hugh Grant got caught with a 10 toes, with a pros in that car, was that in LA? When Hugh Grant got caught, what was he saying to that black woman that he was getting fellatio from? What did he call her? Anyone remember? Anyone remember what she said he called her? Hugh Grant, British white dude. What did the white man call the black woman? What did he describe her as? What did he say? Did he not call her red bone? Ooh, or something along those lines. Yellow bone, red bone, something like that. Did he not mention her skin color? Is that not a white man? Uh-oh. A well-to-do, famous white man. This is Hugh Grant at the height of Hugh Grant. Yeah. A white man that noticed his skin color, pointed out the light-skinned woman, did whatever he wanted to do with the light-skinned woman, and mentioned her skin color. Uh-oh. But white men don't see skin tone and skin color, everyone. Black is just black. The clip that we've all seen, I think we've all seen it. I mentioned it just a minute ago, where the white young man is sitting on that panel, that table discussion, and he proceeds to say he's not really into the interviewer, white woman, says, well, name one group of women you're not really interested in. And he says black women. Ooh. And he says, if I am to date a black woman, I tried it before, but if I am to date a black woman, it's going to be the lighter skinned mixed black women. That's a young white man. He's not in his 30s. He's not in his 40s. He's not in his 50s. He's not in his 60s. That's a young white man. What did the black woman proceed to say? The young black woman. She then proceeded to say, well, I'm not into white men. Yeah. That is a young white man speaking about skin color and skin tone and saying he prefers lighter skinned black women if he dated black women, which he doesn't. He's not interested. Once again, rewriting history for white Zaddy. Rewriting history for white Zaddy. We have far too many women, black women, rewriting history to appeal to white Zaddy. And it moves them not 1 inch. White men are still not checking for the women they're not checking for. They're still not interested in the women they are not interested in. And Telescope says, over the past 35 years, white men pretended to care about what black women care about black women, to weaponize them against black men. Black women were goofy enough to think their opinions really matter to white men. And we're here now. And the Donald Trumps and the Stephen Millers, the Vivek Ramaswamis, but you said white men, okay, fine. The Donald Trumps, the Stephen Millers of the world, the JD Vance of the world are showing you what they think about you, are showing you what white men think about you. When you hear white liberals speaking about we might have went too far with the identity politics, I want everyone to appreciate the two groups that stand out the most in that to them are LGBTQ folks and black women. And black LGBTQ women. You want to talk about being thrown under the bus? Only see what's about to go on. No, sorry, rewind. Juicy season's about to go on. Only season 2. You know who they're about to throw right under the bus? Shout out to black women. You think you put everyone else in a pinch of move. Ooh, you do not appreciate who you dealing with. Huh? Ezra Klein is ready to throw y'all right under the bus to win these elections. Third Way 2.0. I saw it. I said it. Juicy made a little documentary about it. I still ain't watching it. Huh? I know she mentions it. Because if I see it and saw it, community college dropout, then Juicy, I think she has a master's degree, maybe PhD. I definitely think she has a master's degree. She saw it and see it too. She made a documentary about it, or a little mini whatever the hell they call it, think piece or whatnot. So yeah, Telescope, yeah, white men pretended like they cared what black women had to say, and now they don't have to pretend no more, and they're not going to. Huh? And they're not even going to pretend. Relevance says, Z, what is this Eurocentric standard? And did black men create it? No. But you're talking about women who are rewriting history and they're too cowardly to address that they ain't never going to fit into that European beauty standard. And white men not going to let them destroy it because they throw in a temper tantrum that they don't get to be politically and socially white women. Huh? No, black men didn't create it, but black women are too cowardly to say anything to white men because they know they're going to get laughed out the damn room. So they just continue to chastise black men as their sons and nephews show up to Thanksgiving dinner with Latinas and white women and Asian women on their ass. Huh? Roguish ass, aggressive ass women who then pretend like they're surprised that their son turned up to Thanksgiving dinner with a not black woman. Okay, yeah, that's it. Auntie, you're you. You don't know why your nephew showed up with a not black woman, with a Latina? And you sound the way you do, and you're shaped the way you are. Oops. Huh? Tell you what, boy says, they see your evidence and they choose to ignore it. Of course they choose to ignore it. Mr. Z is going to document this anyway. Y'all put it in the file. Y'all put it away. We bring it up in the next 5, 10 years, remembering this because they're going to be screaming. They're already screaming. And then we put it back in the file and put it away for another 5 or 10 years. Okay? Z, there's no way you could do this for a couple decades. Watch me. Z, you're going to lose your mental health if it's not already gone. Nah, I'll be all right. Huh? Especially now we got an outlet to speak about politics. Yeah, I know I got to start my left lane channel. Shout out to Keep It 100. That was a great conversation last night. But yeah. Oh, the black female effery. We got videos for decades. Forget years. They don't want to be on black men's program. They're going to run and try to grasp for any weirdo straw, any type of excuse. And we're going to keep this documented so that in the future, when people say, whatever happened to that, what did they used to call it again? What was the name of it again? The black community. Yeah. Whatever happened to that in America? What that like it was a bunch of black folks, and some of them were light skinned, and some of them were brown skinned, and some of them were dark skinned, and like that group of people over there, and like at one point they had a serious political block, and like they had the wedge vote, and then what happened to them? The Brazilification of America. Number one. Number two, black women did their whole coven thing, which they're engaging in now. Huh? Ah. Vincent, you could come out with mixtapes at this point, right? Mixtapes of the black women effery. See what I'm saying? Telescope says Hugh Grant's Pro, the Ten Toes, the Streetwalker, the Blade Runner. Ooh, we gonna call them Blade Runners. Ooh, Z, you see? That's you thinking. And once again, Telescope says Hugh Grant's Pro was a light-skinned chick with dyed red hair. By the way, just saying. And there you go. Huh? And 5 Foot Giant 1 says, holy ish, she advocates Michelle divorces Barack in order to bring white men to her side and vote for her. Man, black women will never be able to walk this rhetoric back. I've said it. Where black women find themselves is they jumped out there with the insanity. Appreciate like this type of social media with the videos and all the comment section and all of that. I'm not going all the way to Black Planet for all of you Xers. Stop it. All you Xers and boomers, we ain't going all the way back to Black Planet, right? But with the rise of YouTube and MySpace and then Facebook, Instagram, right? TikTok, Twitter, now X, Twitter, Mr. Z refused to call it damn X. Black women jumped out there with the craziness. And they're not going to be able to walk it back. They're not going to be able to walk it back. Their sexist, misandrous, white worshipping drivel. Their anti-black man rhetoric. Oh, these black women are not going to be able to walk it back. The black women that saw the comments and said nothing. The black women that liked the comments. The black women that will repost the comments. The black women that shared the videos. They're not going to be able to walk it back. They're just going to, what I suspect is you're going to have, quote unquote, the more sensible of black women. Those of them that are little girls now that are going to grow to be black women in the next few years. They're going to see an increase in black men just not interacting with black women at all. Not just in a romantic sense. Black men are going to stay away from black women, even professionally. I recall mentioning to y'all, I don't know if I could ever find it again. Real Talk with Yanni opened up a panel once she did a stream, and a black woman from Canada was speaking about how it's only her, another black girl, and a black young man that worked at this one spot, and the black man stayed the hell away from her and the other black girl. Young black man, both of them, the girls were young, probably mid and early 20s, and she said that young black man stayed he hung around with the white folks and the Asians, and he stayed the hell away from the black girls. I would argue you're going to start seeing more and more of that. You're going to start seeing more and more of that. And the video I'm referring to with Real Talk with Yanni, this is some years ago. This is maybe 3, 4, maybe even 5 years ago, right? I would argue you're going to start seeing more and more of that. For all of you that say, what community, you might be right. Huh? When Nameless is political Mandalorianism, Obsidian says we're a bunch of Mandalorians here, they might be right. And if they're not right, they're going to be. Huh? And you're going to watch this devastate black women. Appreciate the only thing that was holding them up, as I've said before, was the largesse of essentially liberal white men and liberal white women. Not because they actually cared about black women, but as Telescope said earlier, the weaponization of black women and intersectionality to benign neglect the plight of black boys and men that then turn around and hurt everyone in the black community, including those same black women and girls that were okay with being weaponized against black boys and black men. Now that white liberals no longer need that, and white conservative men in particular, are on the warpath, black women are really going to have to sit with what America white folks really see them as and what other people of color see them as. And because black women enthusiastically burnt that bridge between black men and black women, you're going to witness Gen Z young men and Gen Alpha behind them have a completely different orientation towards black girls and women than millennials, Xers, boomers, silent, and greatest generation. That sense of community obligation, that sense of obligation toward black women and black girls, that sense of protection. Black women who claim black men don't protect them, you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm not saying one or two black men aren't going to have this. One or two black men aren't going to still be all about black women. The Dr. Umar Johnsons will always be with you. What I'm arguing is that you are going to see a level of indifference from black young men that black women claim black men are on now. Huh? So appreciate this. Black women have burnt that bridge. And we're going to witness what that looked like for them and for black men. Everything from the BLM mission statement to the BLM memo to the Ice Cube effect, because of that conversation Ice Cube had with the ladies from Queens and Cocktails, to the Tiffany Cross moment on MSNBC, huh? To what happened with Stacey Abrams in Georgia, to Barack Obama waving his finger at black men concerning Kamala Harris. All of these have been documented. Black men and black boys who are on the internet, chronically on social media and the internet, like Mr. Z. We've seen these things, we've documented it. It's in our mental Rolodex. Even for those who are not all over the black manosphere, these things have been documented, and black men and boys will move accordingly. Huh? Black men and boys will move accordingly. Huh. I want everyone to appreciate. I forgot what the name of them brothers are. I think one of them is Ethiopian. It's the heavy-set, dark-skinned brother, and then it's like the light-skinned, slim brother. He might be Ethiopian or Eritrean, and they cover videos, kind of like Abba and Preach do. Somebody's gonna say the name of that channel. But a few years ago, they covered Cynthia G and they have a diverse subscriber base. And a couple years ago, they covered Cynthia G in the Delete Black Male Babies video. They covered it. They played her in her own words. And if you went through the comments, people were shocked and appalled and astonished. Huh? Don't forget that Destiny now knows about swirlers and divestors. He mentioned it on his own channel, on his own platform. Huh? Yes, it was the playback channel. Yes, Barry Hamilton. Thank you very much. It was the playback channel. Black women are going to burn every damn bridge. They're going to pretend like they're victims of black men. And you could pull that with baby boomer and Xer white men. Huh? You could pull that with those white men. Millennial and definitely Gen Z white men, you ain't going to be able to pull that. First off, they're not going to care. But do you see how millennial white men are moving right now? Stephen Miller is a millennial. Huh? Y'all don't see how millennial white men are moving? Nick Fuentes is a Gen Z. Y'all don't see how they moving? You're not going to be able to pull that with those men. That we're the victims of black men and their ineptitude and their colors and features and texturism. Huh? And you should be frightened if a white man lets you talk like that and he pretend like he believes you. Because that means he's scheming on your ass. Huh? Shout out to black women rewriting history for white Zaddy. It's looking ugly out there, everyone. It's looking real ugly. Huh? So I played Akash wife to show that it's not just black women, women of color out here sounding absolutely insane. I played Crazy Eyes. Huh? And we'll end it out on this note. This young lady right here, hysterical. And what she has to say. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat.
Hi, thanks for coming in. I hear you wanted to talk and get some tips on why it's been so hard for you to find the right guy for you. Does it look like I have a problem with finding men? Yeah, you don't want to answer that. So what is it that you're looking for in a spouse? What is it that you look for specifically? What type of characteristics are you looking for? Okay, so let me just give you like an example. So lately, I've learned that men are intimidated by me. Like, I just don't know what it is, but it's almost like I'm too much for them and they aren't man enough for me. Shout out to Tony. But you know, like, I'll give you an example. So I was talking to this guy and I texted him, hey, right? And it took him like 3 hours to respond to me. Okay, could have been that maybe he was just busy at the time and he texted you once he was available to do so. I mean, yeah, that's what he said, but I know that it was because he was afraid of my power, because he took so long to respond, because he was afraid of, you know, maybe what I would say next. And I mean, granted, I did text him at 3 a.m., but I mean, 6 hours to respond? It's a bit ridiculous, don't you think? All right, let's move on to something else. So what do you bring to the table? I am the table with marble tops imported from Italy. Okay, do you cook?
Girl, I DoorDash.
Oh, dear God. Okay, so why do you think that you're still single? Because I refuse to settle, and I know that God is still working on the man that is worthy of me. If God is still working on him, how old, what range do you expect for him to be?
Between 22 and 30.
And you are? I'm 35, but I look 25 in good lighting, so, you know, that's not a big deal. All right, I think we're done. I think we're done for the day. Okay, girl, well, now that I've talked to you, how long do you think before the man of my dreams, the love of my life, how long do you think it'll take for me to meet him?
Girl, bye, dog.
I love that for me, period.
Did you hear what I said?
I love that for me.
Even other black women are saying, yeah, you sound absolutely nuts. F nuts. Absolutely nuts. You sound crazy. And Barry Hamilton says, intimidated by their power. What power? This is black female speak. No? This is black female speak. They continue with that crap. Now, black women are not the only ones to claim that men are intimidated by them when really men are disgusted. Men are weary. Huh? Men know better. They take men protecting their peace and be like, no, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it. For intimidation, because that's what they have to tell themselves. They can't tell themselves that men too also find certain behaviors from women as an ick. They can't tell themselves that men experience ick too. And it's not always about the physical. They cannot tell themselves that. They can't tell themselves that men, particularly those of us with stability and we have a bit of options, that we pass on women all the time. We play dumb. We play juvenile. Men put women in the friend zone also. Not only because we might not find them physically attractive, because it's not worth the headache. And we're not starving for XXX access. So they're going to say you're intimidated. What else is she going to tell? Where in the world are you going to find the woman, black women in specific, black women in America, more specifically, where are you going to find that woman who just openly says, you know what? I get it. I'm insufferable. I get it. I'm argumentative. Huh? I get it. I'm a turn off. I turn men off. Where are you going to find that woman? Maybe every once in a while in their deepest, darkest depression, and she just so happened to press the record button on her phone? I doubt it. Where are you going to find that woman? That black woman in America that just openly says, you know what? I pretty much burnt every bridge. Where are you going to find that black woman? I can't end up with a white man. I can't end up with a black man. It's me. Where are you going to find that black woman? I went to school, then I went back to school, then I went back to school. It's me. Where are you going to find that black woman? So yeah, they're gonna say that the black men are intimidated by their power, or men are intimidated by their power. What else they gonna say? Right? So on that note, everyone, we'll pause right here. This is long enough. Z has things to do. Right? Regular streams. So we'll pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. Black men, we cannot allow for black women to rewrite history and make black men the boogeyman of their history, because these black women are doing everything in their power to achieve white womanhood. And in their temper tantrum and in their anger, in their petulant child tantrum, they're attempting to rewrite history because nobody cared what they talking about. And so now white men are absolved, and black men are now the ones that harm black women. The best thing that many of us can do is to stay the hell away. Sound like you signing the paperwork, Z? I'm not signing the paperwork. But the best thing black men can do is stay the hell away and leave black women to their own devices. I mean that both literally and figuratively. You know, gotta leave black women to their own devices. The more scarce black men make themselves, the more excuses black women won't have. They'll still have excuses, Z, you're right, but still, the less excuses black women will have. So, on that note, truly, we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. I'm pretty sure the Roger Report is still streaming. Maybe Dr. Thunder is still streaming. I don't know. I doubt it. But y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out. Y'all have a great, great rest of y'all day.
You are now listening to MrZBlackneffect.